let's talk a little bit about one of the worst mechanics that Shift Up has implemented to date for now, right? Because they will probably come up with something else over time that is going to be worse, but for now, one of the worst mechanics that Shift Up has implemented for the new Rapunzel, and of course a little bit my first impressions on this character. As usual, hello the internet, welcome back to the Waifus. I am Sefhi, your favorite gambling addict, and today, Rapunzel Pure Grace is the topic of discussion and what's going on with her kid. Now, to begin, or to understand why this is so bad, we have to talk about rocket launchers and sniper rifles. Right now, most of the meta characters that are rocket launchers or sniper rifles, you want to manually spam them all the time in order to spam your burst generation and because it's more damage, right? So most people will do that. Now, people have been complaining about this for a long time because this leads to two things. Well, first of all, breaking your fingers, and second, people using macros to actually outperform other players and get better scores. Now, anyone who tells you macros are banned is lying to you. Everyone at the top of solo raid and union raid uses macros. There are few people who can perform without a macro just like a macro. There are some players like that. There are some top players not using macros. I'm not saying it's 100% everyone, but 99% of the people on those rankings use macros. Because for the competitive players, there is no reason not to be using them if you want to keep up. Now, when it comes to Shift Up and the tech team and their anti-cheat, we can talk about that any other day. Doesn't matter. It's not this topic. But this type of mechanic with the rocket launchers and snipers led to those two things, right? First of all, breaking your fingers for 3 minutes, spamming the click, and then the macro usage for the people who are doing that. So those two things are already quite bad, and this has been a complaint since day one. So what Shift Up did to alleviate this, well, they created two characters that everyone actually liked. We were like, this is a good solution. They made Pascal that you just hold and he shoots. And this is fantastic. This actually fixes the problem. They did the same with the Red Hood Burst. They did the same now with Cinderella. Now, once again, okay, so they did those two characters. What is the problem then, Sefhi? That they never did this again. They completely decided to scrap this new mechanic of holding to shoot, and that actually was helping everyone that doesn't like to manual these weapons, and you are losing a lot of damage anyway. So they have done nothing to fix this until Rapunzel came out, because they were like, oh guys, you don't like having to spam constantly for 3 minutes straight? Okay, what about having to hold your mouse for 3 minutes straight instead? Do you guys think that's a great idea? A fucking fantastic idea, Shift Up. So, let's go into over her kit, okay? I'm not going to talk about the shield, I'm not going to talk about attack damage, etc. I'm going to talk about specifically skill 1 right here, right? And skill 2. Skill 1, as you can see, activates only when full charge status is maintained for more than 1 second and a shield is present. You increase attack damage by 10%. And then on skill 2, once again, when you do exactly the same, your current HP goes down 2% every second and you recover the shield HP. Which is a pretty good, nice mechanic while you hold, right? You are giving attack damage while reducing your own HP, and then if you stop holding, you lose attack damage, but you can start to recovering your own HP. It's a nice mechanic until you realize you have to hold the mouse for more than 20 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, depending on the fight. So you're gonna be just holding your mouse like this for 3 minutes straight. Who the fuck thought that was a good idea? Now you might be thinking, Sefhi, it's not that deep. It is, because they already fixed this mechanic with Pascal, with Red Hood, and with Cinderella. And this is a shit mechanic that no one asked for, and this is not the solution that for 2 years we've been asking. Because again, this is not something new that we've been complaining about. This has been something we've asked for 2 years. Outside of that, okay, let's ignore this new mechanic and let's talk a little bit about her kit and why she's a decent-ish character for a new player. But if you really compare her with other B1s, she actually loses most of her usage. So the only reason you want to use her is because she's providing to you attack damage 15% at level 10 on a 20-second cooldown. That's it, nothing else. Because her shield and her HP mechanic are worthless. They are. Most people are not going to be holding their mouse for 30 seconds to 2 minutes at a time, because again, it's stupid. And so you are losing that 10% attack extra damage. That's the only thing that you would actually gain outside of like a permanent uptime shield, which is not that great to begin with. Shields in this game, shields in NIKKE are not that good, and we also have to understand that her shield to begin with is not one that affects all allies. It only affects herself. So if this was like a team shield that you could have 100% uptime to cheese some content, I could see that, but it's a personal shield that affects herself, nothing else. So you're gonna be using her for her burst. That's it, nothing else. And for her burst, she's actually pretty decent because attack damage is a lot better than, for example, an attack buff. So the best example we can put to this is to compare her with something like N102. Now you'll say, oh, but they are level 1, doesn't matter. Their bursts do not scale with their level, it's just attack, right? A percentage increase to all allies. So as you can see, if I hold my mouse or don't hold my mouse, the first one is not holding, so just leaving Rapunzel on auto. Cindy is doing 790 million versus holding 753. This is because, well, if I have to manual for 3 minutes, I'm gonna be missing shots while I am actually manualing Rapunzel and having to aim everything. But still, it's not like a big difference. Where you see the difference is on machine guns, assault rifles, and SMGs, because something like Ludmilla goes from 652 by not holding to 745 by holding a Rapunzel Pure Grace. So in those cases, for those type of characters, once again, machine guns, SMGs, and assault rifles, they benefit from this. If not, it doesn't really matter. As you can see, this is with N102, which is like a super basic attack buff, and she's getting a 732 versus 789 or 753. Ludmilla is doing more damage than if you were to just leave a Rapunzel with her burst without holding. So is it like a 50-50 as to why Shift Up decided to go with this? Not only that, but I'm gonna be honest, this killed me so much, and this is not just because it's a hold mechanic, it's because all of the backstory behind this, right? This killed me so much that I would put this on the top 3 war crimes by Shift Up, alright? The first one, the 1% increase balls. The second one, having to pull 4 copies of a character for an L2D background that every other gacha gives to you for free. Never forget that one as well. Top 3 war crimes of Shift Up, this new hold mechanic by Rapunzel. It's a pity that one of the designs we were most excited about has been turned into like a really simple one that is going to be useful for new players. Don't get me wrong, like new players will be able to take advantage of this, but for absolutely everyone else, even for raids, you will not see Rapunzel. So all that japping is going to be for this video. Just wanted to talk a little bit about Rapunzel and why it pisses me off, her mechanic of holding. An amazing innovation by Shift Up on a 3-minute fight, having to hold your mouse for at least more than half of that. So all that said, thank you to my Patreons on Coffee for making this content possible. Loves you all bossos. Have a great day and see you in the next one.
役立たずは楽園から追放するのみ。ブランとノワールのショータイムです。天地万物を切るとはこういうことだ。